Now we will see some common fractures. This is a fracture of the lateral third of the left clavicle. This is a fracture of the middle third of the right clavicle. This is a fracture of the scapula. This is a typical anterior dislocation of the right shoulder. This is a fracture of the neck of the right humerus. This is a fracture of the shaft of the humerus. This is a condylar fracture of the right humerus in an adult. This is a supracondylar fracture of the humerus in a child. This is another supracondylar fracture. Note the anterior projection of the upper fragment. This is a medial condylar fracture of the humerus. This is an elbow dislocation. This is a fracture of the lower third of radius and ulna. This is a fracture at the junction of lower third and middle third of radius ulna. This is a fracture of the middle third of radius ulna. This is a typical cholesis fracture of the lower end of radius with dorsal angulation. This is a transverse fracture of the middle phalanx of finger. This is a transverse undisplaced fracture of a middle phalanx of finger. This is a dislocation of proximal interphalangeal joint of a finger. This is a fracture of the pelvis involving both pubic rami. This is a fracture of the neck of the left femur. It is transcervical, not involving the trochanters. This is a intertrochanteric type of fracture of the neck of left femur. Note the fractured trochanters. This is another intertrochanteric fracture of the neck of the femur. It is comminuted. This is a spiral fracture of the shaft of the femur in upper third. This is a fracture of the patella with widely separated lower pole. This is a fracture of the tibia fibula in the upper third. This is a comminuted fracture of the tibia fibula in the lower third. This is an undisplaced fracture of the lower third of tibia. And this is an oblique fracture of the shaft of the fifth metatarsal.